Hey everybody, welcome back to Soundwaves TV. Dennis, Chasta, Steve. We love music. We love going to shows. We love seeing our favorite classic bands. And I want to bring you in on a little phenomenon that maybe is the one thing that nobody really talks about. You and I went to a show. You missed it. We didn't know you at the time.
Yeah, no, I wasn't around
But
at the time.
had you been there with us when we saw Cheap Trick, Heart, and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts at
Great
Shoreline
show.
a couple of years ago, yes. We're standing there with Joe McCaffrey, our esteemed colleague from the old school Soundwaves, and we were drinking, but that's not a part of the story.
Okay.
Except for the spirited conversation that follows. Heart comes out, and Ann Wilson says, we're going to play you a new song. And Joe McCaffrey, quite loud, I don't know why, says, I don't want to hear any new song. Play me your classics. I didn't come here to hear new music. And I was like,
no.
Dude, she's not your personal jukebox. But it did lead to a larger conversation and something I think is a thing. People go to see their favorite classic rock or their favorite legacy acts, and they want to hear the greatest hits album. But what if you're an artist who's still making music? Cheap Trick puts out an album every 9 months. You know, so what happens when you're an artist, when you're a classic artist, and you still got the itch, you still want to create, you still want to make your stuff, but you can't play anything in a concert? Go for it.
That's tough. Here's the thing. I feel like if you're dedicated to said band, like I'll just throw out one of my favorites is Blackberry Smoke. Whatever they put out, I'm into here because I'm dedicated to what they have to offer me.
Right.
So I'm just there as a pure fan. So I'll just listen to whatever that is. On the side note, like if you're talking about a mega band like, say, the Stones or Aerosmith, I also don't really feel the need for new music because they have so many decades of music to choose from that I'm so familiar with. I don't feel the need. But in that moment, it's not really about me. It's about them and their artistic expression, and that I get. They probably want to do some new stuff like Heart did. So then let them have their moment. They're the artist. We're just there to soak it up. That's my opinion.
You know, my opinion on this topic has actually changed over the decades because when I first started going to concerts in the 70s and 80s, I just wanted to hear the hits, and I wanted them to sound exactly the way they sounded on the record. Any deviation, any time where they went off book at all, I was kind of like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's not the way you're supposed to play it.
Yeah.
But then as I progressed and I got a little bit more sophisticated in my musical tastes, I looked forward to at least getting, a little bit of a taste of what's coming up.
Yeah.
Because if I love your music now, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to love what you're going to be doing down the road a piece as well.
Right.
I do want to hear the hits, and I still want to hear them.
Yeah.
But I don't mind getting the occasional. And there's an article I saw. If I had thought about it, I would have paid a little closer attention because I usually don't. But it was this list of 10 artists who, what is your least favorite song to play? Ooh. And one after the other, it was their hit. It was
the biggest hit.
Big hit. And they're just
they've been playing
so
for 30
sick
years.
of playing it.
Yeah.
They hate it. They can't stand it. They never want to hear it again, but they got to play it.
Well, to your point, I think that's why they do change it up so much because they're bored.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
that's almost
Sure.
like an assembly line job. You're
Yeah.
playing the same song, different crowd every single night. And look, I know they signed up for it. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I get it. It's an amazing gig. But really, let's put ourselves in that moment.
Totally.
You would get tired of
Yeah.
saying the same thing every night. I mean, we all have kids. Toddlers listen to the same song over and over and over again. It's almost like you live in Groundhog Day in some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, John Mellencamp caught a lot of shit a couple of years ago when he says, I'm not your jukebox.
Yeah.
I'm going to come out and give you my show that I'm feeling right now at the moment. And people are like, hey, F you, John Mellencamp.
We're
I
paying
came
your
to hear
bills.
Jack and Diane.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the road is somewhere in the middle. I think the answer is that, you do have that fan service, the people who kept you there for 30 years. But it saddens me when Cheap Trick puts out an album every 9 months. Weezer, for Christ's sake, they put out 3 albums, including a covers album in the last year. So you look at that and they want to play the new stuff too.
Yeah.
They're excited to get out there and road test the new stuff.
Yeah.
And they can't because people just want to hear
Yeah.
what they want to hear. And it's a weird dichotomy to be able to be in the position to get up in front of thousands of people or dozens of people or whatever and have to be stuck doing what you love doing, but doing it the way in this little tiny
Within
area.
that box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually a website that puts out all the set lists from all the rock shows and stuff, so you can look and see what they played.
Setlist.fm.
Yeah.
Use it all the
Right.
time.
Yeah,
Yep.
And you can go through and you can take a look and you can see where they change it up a little bit
Yeah.
from city to city and
Right.
stuff, but not a lot. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, because they got those blinders on that this is what they got to play. But even within their, because you look at somebody like a Cheap Trick that's been around forever, and they'll swap some stuff out. There's a couple of points where you're going to hit them every time, and there's always the anticipation: am I going to hear my favorite song?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That's part of the fun as well. And you're a little disappointed when you don't.
Yeah.
But still, you're not going to be able to, especially somebody like the Stones or McCartney or somebody
Right.
like that. You're not going to get the entire, Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, he's going to sit there and play every friggin' song he's ever made because he
For
puts
4
on a
hours,
4-hour
right.
show.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody else is
I'm
in and
okay
out
with
and
that.
out.
Let me just
Yeah.
say that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
We love you, Bruce.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm always sad at shows because I always love the B-sides. Like I always
yeah.
love the rares. Whenever I saw Chris Robinson, the Black Crowes at their last show at the Fillmore when they were together, they did Seeing Things, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. And I never thought I truly never thought I would hear that live. So for all of you bands like Black Crowes, Heart, Journey, all those bands that are watching, every once in a while, it's nice also if you're gonna play some new stuff, play some real deep cuts, like just a couple, because for those loyalists out there, there are songs that you're like, I'm never going to hear that live, and when you do, it's a religious experience.
Didn't the Stones do that a couple of years ago? Like they got a lot of really positive press from fans. Like they had this tour where they could just change the set list every night.
Yes.
And they threw in like deep album cuts, and all you heard was that was amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
And you would think people would learn from that lesson,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But once again, I really do think it's the sophistication of the audiences because some people,
Yeah.
like Joe, Freebird!
Yeah.
And that's all they want to hear.
I think the lesson of the day is don't be a douchebag in the lawn yelling at the
Right.
band.
Yeah. You hear that, Joe? He'll
I
never
wasn't-
see this. He'll
I
never
wasn't-
see it.
I know he will. He won't ever see it, so it doesn't matter. I was gonna say I'm sorry, Joe, but it doesn't matter.